Hello and welcome to One More Sleep, your favorite Defenders of the Bank segment previewing LAFC's upcoming matchups. And this one, folks, is going to be a big one. The 4th of July, the Rumble in the Rose Bowl, the fireworks on the fairgrounds, the 23rd meeting between the Galaxy and LAFC. And this could end up being the most competitive and hotly contested match in this rivalry's history. Both teams at the top of their game and on top of the Western Conference. And I know you all can't wait. But before we get into things, introductions. My name is Cowboy Philly, the platinum-haired flamingo, and joining me, the mouth of the South Bay, the incomparable and charismatic molder of young minds in the subjects of Latin and mathematics, J.R. Liebert, a.k.a.
The Scarf. What is good, Defenders Nation, LAFC faithful? The chorus of the black and gold are ready to go to the Rose Bowl. Yeah, that's right. We are headed to Pasadena, 4th of July. And I think you're absolutely right, Philly. In this case, look, the fireworks are definitely going to happen after the match. But what we know about the LAFC Carson rivalry is that the fireworks always start out on the pitch. Bradley Wright Phillips just wrote an article for ESPN today talking about how this is the best rivalry in Major League Soccer. And anyone who is anyone that has been to any one of these, any of the 22 prior, will tell you that it is unreal to go to. Look, I know that the supporting sides hate El Trafico, but that's what the media is calling it. The battle for Los Angeles, the 110 derby, whatever you want to call it. It is unbelievable, Philly, that for the first time in 23 meetings, we've got two clubs that are as good as it gets in Major League Soccer.
The 110 collision, baby. Look, Bradley Wright Phillips, I got to echo his words. This is the best rivalry in Major League Soccer. It might actually be one of the best rivalries in sports in North America because the passion between both fans is palpable. It is nuts. I've been a Yankees-Red Sox. I've seen some crazy rivalry games, but I've never felt the intensity, the hostility, and the anxiety quite like I do when these two teams square off against each other. Major League Soccer needs to be licking their chompers at this moment because this rivalry is the best representation of what is good in Major League Soccer. It isn't hell is real. Between the rivalry between FC Cincinnati and the Columbus Crew. It's not the Cascadia Cup. It's not El Clasico between San Jose and the LA Galaxy. It is this LAFC and the LA Galaxy. And this is the first time both teams have been as good as they have been, on top of the chart. Scarf, the same goals for. We do have a game in hand, regardless of who's in first or last. Fisticuffs, but we've never seen the two this evenly in terms of stats and on the table.
Number one versus number two in the West, same number of points, same number of goals for. I mean, look, if you look at our XG for the entire season, the two clubs are separated by like 0.04 for the entire season. And yes, I know we have a game in hand on those guys. We're talking about just about the same amount of corner kicks allowed. We're talking about a lot of things that these two clubs do. We do as well as the other one. However, what LAFC is looking to do finally is to even the series. 8 wins for LAFC, 9 wins for Carson, 5 draws of the 22 prior. So we are looking forward to finally, overall anyways, evening the series. And anytime a Carson fan wants to bring up, well, we have more wins in the MLS regular season, hush, little baby, don't say a word, because MLS Cup playoffs, 2-0, my friend, 2-0 wins and losses. So go ahead, beat us in the regular season. You can be Peyton Manning, the greatest regular season quarterback around. I don't need to tell all of you who we can be.
No, you're right. And look, the actual rivalry itself aside, there is no question about it. Since LAFC has stormed onto the scene in 2018, we are the better of the two clubs. You look at wins since 2018. We have 105 to their 81. We have far less losses than they do. We have far more points, far more goals, far more playoff wins, which it really boils down to. And obviously, far more trophies and trips to the finals. So I don't care about, the past. You look in the rearview mirror for too long, you crash directly into what's in front of you, and a crash will be had at the Rose Bowl, but it's not going to be us behind the fender bender. It's going to be the other side down the 110 that's going to crash as a result of us holding our grounds, going in there and taking care of business. Yes, our time at the Rose Bowl has not been favorable. Did not do well against Rayados in the League's Cup. Did not necessarily perform that bad, but well the last time these two teams played. But quite honestly, we have been the better side. We have beaten the Galaxy multiple times over the past couple of matchups. And this time it's going to be really good because they are all firing on all cylinders. And oh my God, I can't even help to contain myself. I'm awake. I'm ready to go. I want this game here happening right now.
Philly, here's the only part that worries me about this match, and it's kind of a weird stat. I mentioned this. A Galaxy pod had me on to be their LAFC guy, which was a lot of fun. They were actually really nice.
They were really nice, and you did a really good job, by the way.
Thank you. Here's the part that worries me, Philly. Since 2020, and I can go back all the way to since we started, by the way, but since 2020, in large stadiums, like football-sized stadiums, and we're talking Lumen Field, Mercedes-Benz Field, SoFi, Levi's, the Rose Bowl, Bank of America out in Charlotte, all of those big stadiums that we're talking about, Philly, we have played in those big stadiums 13 times. 13 times. We have lost 10 of them and only won once in large stadiums. What the heck is going on with LAFC and these large stadiums? It's finally time for Los Angeles's true soccer club to represent on these big stages. Look, you and I, Philly, both know we're not getting 80,000 people in the building for the Rose Bowl for this one. We're going to be very lucky if we get 50,000, but it is unbelievable how difficult we have made things for ourselves on literally the biggest of stages since 2020, winning just one of 13 matches in these large games. I
don't necessarily buy into that cavernous loss rhetoric that you're preaching there. Yes, it's beyond purely coincidental. But at the end of the day, they are isolated instances in which, well, we didn't bring our A game when we did. It's the same concept as, we don't show up when we play in the big games. It's, I don't know. To me, it's not anything other than, well, it is what it is. And I hate saying it that way, but it is what it is. But this is a different team than we've seen in a very long time. A team that we can all be very proud of. A team that has set plenty of records this season already, barely halfway through the season in terms of consecutive wins, shutout minutes, so on and so forth. We are on the precipice of what could go down as the best LAFC team going up against the best Galaxy team that we have seen since 2018. And I don't even think the supporters down the 110 would disagree. This is the best Galaxy team that we've seen since 2018. And yeah, it should be a good one tomorrow, without a doubt.
Yeah, what I didn't realize, Philly, until talking with some of the Galaxy pundits out there, is that something is rotten in the state of Carson in that they kind of want Ricky Pooch to be coming off the bench more often than he starts, which absolutely blows my mind. He didn't start in their last game, but could that be maybe Greg Vanney keeping things a little closer to the vest with what he wants to do? Greg Vanney got to see us play against a team that plays a 4-2-3-1. They like to play a 4-2-3-1, so we'll see what happens there. But man, it just feels like there's something weird with this Galaxy side in that they are propping up and giving praise to Greg Vanney and hating on Ricky Pooch coming into this game. Look, let's not forget, in their last 11 matches, the Galaxy have been very, very good. 6-1-4 in their last 11 matches, just one loss. And that's something to watch out for. They've outscored their opponents 20-10 for obviously a goal differential of +10 in those 11 matches. This is a club with Carson. They've found ways this season not to lose. They've been down 2-0 and come back to tie 2-2. They've been down 3-0 and come back to tie 3-3. They've been down late and found a way to get a goal. They've been doing a lot of things, Philly, that make, I don't know, some people that are watching this a little uneasy in terms of they never feel like they are out of it. The players that they have respond time after time to Greg Vanney this year, and it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens once we go up 2-1, 3-1, maybe even more in this match, how Carson responds at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, they're gritty. Yes, you've said it. They've come from behind plenty of times. The Sporting Kansas City game what was a perfect example. They're a gritty team. And the difference, obviously, is in that of Gabriel Peck and Joseph Paintsill, two players that are fantastic. Gone is the time of Chicharito. Dejan Joveljic has thrived under this 4-2-3-1 system. And Greg Vanney has utilized it really since that loss over at Soldier Field against the Chicago Fire. And that's been the only game they've lost in the last 5. But the players are younger. They're not going after the older talent that they used to rely on in the past. They're buying into the system. They're fast. They're dangerous on the counter. They've got solid goalkeeping, a really good midfield, and a hell of a counterattack. They're thriving, and that's the genetics of a team that is hungry to win, something we haven't seen in a while. They've been more reactive than proactive in their approach to everything since 2018, but they've been very reactive thus far this season, and the proof is in the pudding. You look at their stats, they're on top in so many ways, Scarf. I mean, if you look at things like goals scored, they're number 3 in the league. They're unbeaten in 9 games. I mean, there's just so many good things that we can say about them statistically, but the one good thing that we're not going to say is they're not going to win tomorrow.
Listen, you want to talk about unbeaten in 9 games? That's LAFC, right? 8-0-1 in our last 9 Major League Soccer contests. And not only 8-0-1, and I'm sorry, you can absolutely hashtag blame Scarf on the one tie because I was there. It was the one I was there for in Austin. That's my fault. You can put that one on me, guys. But you know what? Over those 9 matches, Philly 22-4. 22-4. A plus 18 goal differential over the course of 9 matches. Are you kidding me? We are not just winning. We are dominating by defending well. Hugo, an all-star. By the way, who would have thought Hugo Lloris would have been an all-star for any reason other than his name is Hugo Lloris, and they probably would have taken him just for that. Hugo is now 2nd in the league in shutouts. He has come out of nowhere to have an incredible season. 8 clean sheets, just 1 behind Christian Kalina of Charlotte FC. This is a club that is peaking for this match at the right time. There is no reason to peak for this match other than it is Carson coming into the Rose Bowl. Because look, MLS Cup is not won. Playoff spots are not secured. CONCACAF Champions Cup spots are not won at this game in the Rose Bowl. Philly, you and I both know this match tomorrow is all about bragging rights for the city of Los Angeles, and LAFC takes that as seriously as ever.
It's not just bragging rights. It really is like who is the tops in the West at this point. We've never really been in the situation to share this role. So yes, there are bragging rights involved, but it really is conference supremacy. One of these teams more than likely is going to represent the West Coast in the conference finals. And without a doubt, I would put my money on the black and gold, just how things are improving. Look, we're going into this without Kike Oliveira. He's playing with Uruguay. We're going to get better with obviously with Olivier Giroud. So we're only going to continue to improve and get better, which is kind of wild. If you really break it down, we wouldn't have to add or subtract or do anything, and we would still be on a proper positive trajectory, but it only is going to get wilder. I would love to see what this is going to look like when we square off against them with our treasure trove of completed riches. But of course, fireworks on the fairgrounds and the rumble in the Rose Bowl. Let's get into our players to watch.
Yeah, real quick, too, the thing that we're going to have to watch out for is who they use on the back line. No Martin Cáceres because of that gnarly collision with Chicho Arango. But who the Gals will have is a player who has scored, of the players on the Galaxy, only one player has scored more goals against us than Diego Fagundes, and that's Dejan Joveljic. Diego Fagundes has scored against us 3 times, but to me, it's not just about what Diego Fagundes has done on the goal sheet. Diego Fagundes has been a Major League Soccer regular since he was like 15 and a half, you guys. Yeah. He is now in his 15th season, and he's still only like, 30? It's insane how much of a veteran presence and how much quality there is in Diego Fagundes. He's a 50 and 50 guy, 50 assists, 50 goals, but he's also one of those glue guys who is able to keep a team on an even keel when things start to go sideways. And I truly believe that for Carson, things will start to go sideways for them in this match, but it will not be because of the play of Diego Fagundes. He's a player that if he were on LAFC, I would love to have a player the caliber of Diego Fagundes. Absolutely love the guy. He has been all over Major League Soccer after spending a ton of time with the New England Revolution early in his career. And he is one of those guys where it might not look like it over the course of the first 10 minutes or so of the match, but watch him when it starts to get ugly. Watch him when it starts to go sideways. He's one of those guys that will put you on an even keel. Similarly, Kai Kamara brings with him that veteran presence that we need in matches like this every now and then to calm our boys down. Players like Jesus Murillo, players like Edward Atuesta, who can get a little fired up, even sometimes Denis Bouanga. We're talking about players who might need to be calmed down a little bit, and I think it'll be Kai Kamara. Kai Kamara will also be the type of player who will win aerials in either box, whether we are defending or whether we are on set pieces or putting a cross in. With all that Kai Kamara does right, it's that veteran presence that I'm looking for to help steer us. I don't think he plays the full 90. I hope he doesn't have to play the full 90, but I think we are going to see significant contributions from Kai Kamara. And yes, they did get Diego Fagundes from Austin.
That's a good, interesting take. I didn't think about the veteran presence of Kai Kamara calming down the young bucks, so to speak. That's good stuff. You know how much I love to go out on a limb with my choices for players to watch. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not Dejan Joveljic as much as I would have wanted to pick him. The guy has thrived, obviously, since the departure and, honestly, the injury-plagued career of Chicharito. He's doing his thing. He's got 12 goals on the season. He's going to be in the conversation, got to be in the conversation, I should say, for the Golden Boot leadership. If he continues to do his thing, he's going to be talked about from here on out. I mean, 53 starts, 108 appearances. The guy's had 50 goal contributions. Deadly player. But he's not my player to watch. Yes, sir.
You said you weren't going to talk about Dejan Joveljic.
I know, but I had an honorable mention. You're going to love this one. The Peas.
Oh, my God.
The Peas. Yes, look, it's really tough to pick who's going to be the biggest game changer from both sides because it's going to be a total team effort that's going to propel either side to a victory. In Pooch, Paintsel, and Peck, you've got some really fast, very chemistry-oriented, precision passing type players that are deadly on the counter. Gabriel Peck, once he really started finding his foot on the ground in the 17 starts, the guy's had 14 goal contributions, and he's really done his thing. 6 goals, 8 assists. He's thrived in that. When Joseph Paintsel wasn't playing because of hamstring, they looked a little less potent offensively. But when you got the Peas involved, they're going to be devastating and scary on the counter. Really tough to pick. Even if they have Pooch coming off of the bench, you saw how he affected the game against San Jose, how he absolutely broke through the midfield, had that attempt that hit the right side of the post that enabled the wide open header for Joveljic. All three of these guys are dangerous along with Dejan. So I'm going to go with the Peas. And as far as LAFC is concerned, the Killer Bees. That's right. Scarf's face is like, I can't believe he just did that. You can't do that. Of course I can do that. I can do whatever I want. I'm Cowboy Philly, for Christ's sakes. I thrive on shocking and appalling the Scarf. Denis Bouanga and Matty Bogusz, Matty Hattie have had 25 goals contributed between the two alone. Out of the 9 assists that Denis Bouanga has had this season, and he's almost going to be a double-digit figure guy with goals scored and assists, the vast majority of them have gone to Matty Bogusz. When these guys are operating the way that we've seen over the course of their 11-game non-losing streak, they have done their thing. If Denny is not thriving, Matty is. If Matty's not thriving, Denny is. The Killer Bees are going to sock it to the Killer Peas. And as much as I love John McCarthy, as much as he did some tremendous things for us in 2022, heck, I even interviewed him as a member of the LA Galaxy on the Soccer and 60 show. They're going to pulverize him with shots on goal, shots on target, and shots threading through the netting.
Yeah, yes, I think it'll be interesting. Even though he's played one more match than we have, John McCarthy has had to make 75 saves to Hugo Lloris's 52 on the season. So we're keeping it a lot cleaner in front of our keeper than they are for sure. Philly, let's see what happens. Let's see how many keys to the match you chose. And you got 5 players. So.
All the keys to the match. One of the misleading things though, when you see most saves by a keeper, yes, John McCarthy is up there. It just means his back line kind of lets him down. Very rarely will you ever see a keeper with a high save percentage and the most number of saves have the most clean sheets or be the most victorious. So that's the story there.
All right, so keys to the match. The first and foremost is to don't make the overplay. And I hate saying what not to do in these keys to the match. But what we need some of these players to remember is that the ball can only go into the back of the net one time at a time. And what I mean by that is there's no reason, Edward Atuesta, to pull a guy down in the 21st minute in the middle of the park because he got you a little bit frustrated before, and now you're playing the last 70 minutes on a yellow. There's no reason, Jesus Murillo, to go to ground for no reason whatsoever in the box when you could have just stayed on your feet, put your hands behind your back, and made a good defensive stand. There's no reason for us to panic with any one ball. And Ricky Puig can sometimes make you feel like you have to do that. The athleticism of Gabriel Peck and Joseph Paintsil can sometimes make you feel like you have to do that. But that being said, we need to keep our composure. We don't need to make the overplay. If it leads to a breakout on their end and now all of a sudden it's 4v2 or 5v3, those are the kind of things we need to avoid, because what we know is that their midfield will carve you up if you give them the opportunity. What did we do last match? We kept everything in front of us. Don't forget, we allowed Carson to complete 68% possession and 676 passes against us when we played them back when we won 2-1 in April. We won. We can allow them to possess the ball. We can allow them to pass the ball back and forth and back and forth and back and forth because it didn't do anything for them. Almost 700 passes and 70% possession. But we just need to make sure we don't make the overplay. The second thing, Philly, is we need to have set piece success, both on the offensive end and in our own defensive box. That's why we are going to need players the likes of Kai Kamara and Jesus Murillo. We might even see some Maxime Chanot in this as well to get the aerials every time out. We have seen excellent team defending over the last 9 MLS regular season games. We've given up 4 goals. We've won 8 of those 9, and we've drawn the other one. There's no reason to think why we can't go out there and play the same type of team defense. But to me, it starts and ends with set pieces. We got to get on the front foot. We got to get up above these players, and we have to win the set pieces. And yes, Kai Kamara has not scored against Carson, I don't believe, in his career, so it might be time.
You bring up an interesting point in terms of the set piece success over the course of the entire season. I know every time you watch an investment commercial, they always indicate past performance is not indicative of future results, and I'm going to kind of allude to that right here. LAFC has been the better of the two teams in terms of aerials won. 55% of the Galaxy's 47. So we are better in that regard. So hopefully we stick to the math and stick to the statistics and take care of things. For me, it's simple. Control the midfield, win the midfield. Galaxy, if we go across the board from the goalkeeper all the way up to the forwards, I think we have the better keeper. I think we have the better back line. I know we have the better forwards. And yes, I might be going out on a limb saying that because they've got some pretty darn good forwards too. But I think overall, our forwards are better. I think their midfield is a little better than ours, just based on how fast they are and how they connect. If we fail to control the midfield, I think that's where we're going to run into a problem. In addition to that, we've seen how they've operated running the counters and going on transitions. Go back and watch the highlights of the Galaxy's game against San Jose. In the 9th minute, it was a tremendous counter where they didn't convert. But if we're not careful, we're going to see that kind of counter time in and time out. And then go also to the frame where Dejan Joveljic scored a goal and watch how Ricky Puig absolutely carved up the midfield en route to hitting the post and that Dejan Joveljic goal. We have to control the midfield. Otherwise, we are going to let these guys run loose. The chemistry between the Killer Peas and Joveljic is very evident. They are fantastic at threading the needle and finding the wingers out on the run. So we have to control the midfield. We have to stifle it. We choke that carotid artery.
Yeah, Philly, look, they're going to be without Gaston Brugman, which is kind of a big loss, but the play they've got from Edwin Cerrillo in the midfield this year, the 23-year-older that they got from Dallas, Cerrillo has been very, very good. And obviously we know what we get from Pooch, but Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, Delgado, he's also out there doing some good things. So yeah, you're right. I like our midfield if that means that Matty Bogusz is going to eventually drop back and play mid. Although the way that I think Ilie Sanchez had his best match of the season, I think Edward Atuesta had his calmest match of the season last match. And I think those were huge things to see from them, which was really nice. So look, all that being said, I'm going big on this one. I really do believe the way that we are playing now, if we can get the first one, we absolutely take Carson completely off of their game. They are going to want to possess the ball no matter what. They are going to want to pass the ball around the yard no matter what. They are going to bring balls forward, giggity, no matter what. But either way, I believe LAFC is going to play our game and imprint our style on this match more than we have in any El Tráfico in recent memory. And I'm talking maybe even more so than the Adama Diomande butt kicking that we gave them out of the playoffs in 2019. I'm telling you that I think all signs are pointing to LAFC if we can keep them off the board early and we get that first one. To me, everything goes forward from there. I absolutely think we will dominate to the tune of 4-1.
I can't believe we had such a low-scoring affair with them back on April 6th, where it was a 2-1 victory for LAFC at BMO, but no goals scored within the second half. Jack Dickens from the UK, welcome. I love your score prediction because that means
you shouted out Jack, but you got to shout out Bam.
Oh shoot, there's Bam. Bam. we got Australia in the house. We got England in the house. This is good stuff. We've often prided ourselves on being international in over 100 countries. This is an example. I love the fact that you think there's going to be a butt kicking, because if your score prediction comes true, which I hope to hell it does, they're going to need dude wipes, because they're going to need to wipe that booty, because we're going to kick the crap right out of them. Dude wipes, sponsor Defenders of the Bank. You like that, huh?
What just happened?
Dude wipes. Scented and unscented and flushable, by the way.
One more time.
Send this to Dude Wipes. Anybody who's good with social media, send this to Dude Wipes. LAFC is going to kick the crap out of the Galaxy. They're going to need Dude Wipes. My score is a little closer. You're about to lose your ish, aren't you? But my score prediction is not. I wish I would have had the boldness to pick your score prediction. I think it's going to be a little closer, but still an LAFC victory. I think it's going to be a 3-2 game. I think there's going to be a little bit of back and forth, and there will be some dramatics where we come through in the clutch at the very tail end of the game. I don't want to make a prediction as to what player is going to score, but I think it's going to be so hotly contested. Both teams are going to go at each other in such a furious pace. Essentially, fatigue is going to make a coward out of one side, and that will be the team hosting the game tomorrow at the Rose Bowl. And that's going to enable us to run that truck right down John McCarthy's throat, seal the deal, final nail in the coffin, 3-2 victory, and we walk out of the Rose Bowl with a W. If they consider that a home game for the Galaxy, believe it or not, that'll be only the second time we've won when the Galaxy have been the home team, which is nuts. But that is my score prediction, 3-2.
Yeah, I love it. We got a bunch of people in the chat giving us score predictions as well. Leo's got 4-2. Jack's got 3-1. Please hit us up on social media. Let us know your score predictions. Who will be the goal scorers? What will be the pivotal moment in the match? What are the players who really imprint themselves onto this match? Will there be another moment for Matty Bogusz like we saw at BMO Stadium last match? Will there be another bit of heroism for Denis Bouanga, or will it be Kai Kamara? Will it be somebody we haven't even talked about so far? I'm kind of hoping it's a guy like Ryan Hollingshead or Sergi Palencia, maybe doing some things on the offensive end. But Philly, what we both have is 5 goals being scored in this electric rivalry. It will be MLS after dark for sure. The matchup, 7:30 at the Rose Bowl. Fireworks on the pitch, fireworks after. And absolutely, remember what King Lechero says right here. Everybody going to the match, be safe. Hang out with a buddy. Go home with your friends. Don't antagonize other people. If we win, walk out of there like knowing we should have won, because that's what we're going to the Rose Bowl for. Whatever else happens after that, just be calm and cool. Everybody wants to go home, right, Philly? Everybody just wants to go home.
Yeah, I mean, some of us, including myself, have work on Friday, so I'm not trying to like not go home. It's safe and sound. Yes, you're right. We don't want the fireworks happening in the parking lot at the conclusion of the game. So yes, be safe, and we'll have plenty to talk about when we have a quick turnaround where we're going to have to do this recap pod and one more sleep all in the same day, because a quick turnaround. Playing the Houston Dynamo, and then U.S. Open Cup against New Mexico United next week, the team that is on top of the USL right now. But until then, fireworks, the Rumble in the Rose Bowl, it's going to be a good time. Scarf, I'm all out of things to say. Thank you so much to the millions
and millions
of Defenders of the Bank listeners here in Los Angeles and all across the world. We'll see you all really soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.